In 1832, in Tiverton, Rhode Island, which is now part of Fall River, a 30-year-old, unmarried, pregnant mill worker, Sarah Cornell, was found hanging on the Durfee farm. The question became, was it murder or suicide? A Methodist minister named Ephraim Avery, whom Sarah claimed to be the father of her child, was soon to be tried for her murder. This is the story of Sarah Cornell, who was shown a horrible injustice.
So hi guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Sue and I'm Dad. We do a mix of paranormal, true crime, which we a lot of times mix together. We do history and we take you guys on awesome adventures. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, please think about subscribing to our channel.
Unless you're looking for high-tech stuff, we don't do high-tech.
We don't do high tech.
We're more into the story than the
Yes, definitely.
doodads.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here filming at the Lafayette Durfee house in Fall River. Very historical home. Sue and I actually run ghost tours here. You can rent the house out. Groups can come and rent the house out, and we do little paranormal investigations, and it's all to raise money for the house. So it's for a really good cause.
Yeah, we're just starting out, so if you do want a group, wants to come in here, for now, you can private message myself, Sue Vickery, or Deb Vickers, and we'll get you in here.
Yeah, it's definitely got activity. We already had some today when we first came in. I'm curious to see what we hear as we film as well. So today is a little different. So we usually talk about the Borden murders, which occurred in Fall River in 1892, because we worked at the Lizzie Borden house for so many years. That's our crime. That's what we talk about all the time. So we gravitated towards that, but today we are going back to 1832 to the case of Sarah Cornell. So as you will see, as we go on, there are familial connections to the Borden family. And it's strange because it seems like many of our episodes that we do, we often find some kind of a link to the Bordens and Lizzie. Yeah. It's weird.
I'm not sure if you mentioned, but this house is in Fall River, guys.
Yes, and this house actually was a kind man that actually found Sarah's body, and this was one of his relatives' homes.
Yes, it would have been a little further forward in time, because this house was actually built in 1750.
Yep. Revolutionary
War ties to the Bordens and the Durfees. And then later on in the 1800s, as Deb just mentioned, a member of the same Durfee family was involved in the Cornell.
It's all interconnected. It's the strangest thing to me. And as in all of our true crime cases, because we are paranormal investigators, we try to reach the victims to give them a voice. So we will be traveling to the farm, not too far from here, where Sarah's body was found, and we're going to try to communicate with her. And we are going to go to her grave. Sue was able to find her gravestone. I have a little something that I want to leave for her. So we're going to go back to the beginning, to Sarah's grandfather, Christopher Leffingwell. So he was born in Norwich, Connecticut, and his ancestors were the founders of the town. He established a fulling mill, grist mill, and chocolate mill, among other businesses. Now I had to look up what a fulling mill was, because I wasn't sure, just because I'm nosy. So they had water-powered machines that would clean the wool and thicken it. So what they would do is they would put the wool in these vats of water, and these heavy things would come down and pound the wool. Yeah, I know. They were water-powered, as everything was back then. Just a little side note.
Oh, can I interject for a second? the Leffingwell house, guys, actually still stands in Norwich, Connecticut.
Yes.
And we've been there and we've investigated that place.
Yes.
If you get the chance, really great location.
So you know what, guys, I'm actually gonna pause for a second here so we can put up our pictures that we have. We went to the Leffingwell house, our friend had passed away, it was
Nice.
her memorial, yep. So I am not tech savvy and I don't know how to put the pictures in over while we're talking, so I'm gonna pause for a minute so I can add those pictures in for you guys. So hold tight, guys.
She'll be back. Ooh, it's hot in here.
So this is the Leffingwell house where Sarah's mom grew up and where Sarah herself spent a lot of time. This is the fireplace inside of the Leffingwell house where they would have cooked a lot of meals. I'm sure the family spent a lot of time in that room. Little Sarah sitting by the hearth. Yeah, so the Leffingwell house was a really cool house. We went for our friend's memorial, so we didn't really do a lot of like ghost hunting, but
Enough to know it was an active location.
an active
We were
location
getting some stuff,
for
yeah.
sure. But I want to go back now that we know more of the history of where, you know, Sarah's mom grew up and all of that. So we definitely have to make a trip back to
Yeah.
that spot.
I love that.
Yeah, so he was a colonel during the Revolutionary War. And as you can imagine with all those businesses, he became quite wealthy. He inherited the Leffingwell house, which we just talked about, and he raised his 9 children there. Sarah's mother, Lucretia, was one of his daughters. We talked about how we've been at the house. It's amazing. So because he had so many businesses, he had, of course, a lot of people working for him. And one man was called James Cornell. And he was from Vermont. Is right. He moved to Norwich from Vermont. He was an apprentice at one of the shops. Now, Lucretia, his daughter, was 25 at the time, and she met and fell in love with James.
Of course she did.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, her family was not happy with this at all. He was like really below their status and
Oh, because status meant everything back then. That you did not marry beneath
below,
you.
right,
No.
right. But of course, there was no telling her, so eventually they relented and she married him on January 7th of 1796. He moved his new wife up to Vermont, and over the course of 6 years, they had 3 children. They had 2 girls and a boy. Sarah was the youngest. So throughout the years, he would constantly ask Lucretia, we need more money, get more money from your father. And so she would feel terrible. She would go and ask him for money, and he would give it to them.
Oh, he did.
He
I'm
did at
surprised
first. He did at first, but eventually he got sick of it and he refused to send any more money. So then James, the scoundrel that he was, realized that he wasn't going to get any more money from his father-in-law. So he abandoned Lucretia and the 3 children.
Not surprised.
Piece of crap, right? So this is interesting. James brings us to another murder, Rebecca Cornell. She had a son named Thomas. Sources say he wasn't very kind to his mother, and like James, he was pretty much a fortune hunter. Poor Rebecca, I just admire her. She used to love to sit by her fireplace and smoke her pipe.
The Valley Inn.
Yeah, the Valley Inn. I'm going to pause because we're going to put a picture into that for you guys too. Her house still stands, and it's a restaurant.
It's gorgeous. I've eaten there a few
Yeah.
times. I love the Valley Inn.
Yeah. So poor little Rebecca, she would sit by her fireplace and smoke her pipe. On February 8th of 1663, her body was found burned by her fireplace. Now, people assumed it was an accident, but shortly after, her brother had a dream that she came to him and showed him stab wounds. So he brought this to authorities who had Rebecca's body exhumed, and they did find the stab wounds. And Thomas was arrested and sent to trial, with numerous people testifying how he was with his mother and talking about the stab wounds. And he was actually hung for the murder of his mother. Now, didn't you say he's buried in the driveway of the house?
He is.
Right?
One of the ghost hunting shows did an episode actually in the Valley Inn, and Yeah, they actually had the ground penetrating,
Yeah.
what do you call that thing?
Yeah.
Sonar.
So they didn't want him in this. They didn't want him in this
No,
cemetery.
he wasn't allowed to be buried on family
Yeah,
ground.
you're going at the end of the driveway, buddy, and that's that.
Oh, I'm a little surprised at the research you pulled up there. I heard the story a little differently. I didn't hear about the stab wounds.
Mm-hmm.
I heard she appeared to her brother and said, "Oh, look how burned I am. I was pushed into the fire."
Mm-hmm.
Something
No,
to
it was-
those words.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
They
Interesting.
actually found stab wounds. So this was actually the first time the paranormal was ever used in a courtroom.
That, I know, that's cool.
Now Thomas had a son named Stephen Cornell, who, okay, hold on, I gotta figure this out, who was Sarah's father, James's father. So being a scoundrel seemed to run in that family, right? And then Thomas also had a daughter named Innocent, and she was Lizzie Borden's great-great-great-great-grandmother. So it's odd, remember I talked about how it always intersects?
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing, and it's odd how murder like plagues that family as well. It's the strangest thing. So now back to Sarah's mom, Lucretia. Scoundrel husband James left her with 3 children. We discussed that Sarah was just an infant when her father left. James packed up his wife and children and dropped them at Lucretia's father's doorstep. When Sarah's father died, he left her nothing. So the little family packed up and moved in with relatives. Sarah's brother James was sent to live with other relatives.
That's so sad.
I know, and her sister, Lucretia, who was named after her mom, was also sent to live with other family members. She later married a minister named Grindle Rawson. So Sarah, as she became a teenager to support herself, well, she originally started out, she apprenticed in a tailor shop. So she knew, my family has no money. If I'm going to get anywhere, I'm going to have to work for it.
I mean, factories were everywhere. That
Yes.
was the place for women to get jobs back then.
Right. So she eventually went on to become a mill worker. Now, this girl traveled all over New England to work in the different mills. She was in Lowell, Mass, Dorchester, Mass, and Slatersville, Rhode Island, which is near me.
Yeah.
Which I think I've shown you that town before. It's on the way to the Conjuring House.
Slater Mill.
No, different area.
Oh.
Yeah, this is
no, I don't.
Slatersville. It's
Okay.
by the Conjuring House.
Okay.
Yeah, and my husband actually lived there as a child for a couple of years, and he loved it. It was one of his favorite places. It's like, still to this day, if you drive around, it's like Mayberry RFD. It's crazy. And the mills are there, and he said his dad and his uncle used to work at some of the mills, so I wonder if they were the same mills perhaps that Sarah had worked at.
I mean, probably these mills have been around for hundreds of years.
Yep. So these mill girls would work 12 to 14 hours, 5 days a week with a half day on Saturday. But they did have boarding houses for all of the girls, and they had women that ran these boarding houses, and they fed the girls, and they had strict rules. They had to be in at a certain time at night.
The women, I'm sure.
Yeah, so they did take good care of their girls, their mill worker girls. In 1822, Sarah's mom brought her to Providence to see her sister, because they had been separated because her sister got...
Lucretia ended up in Providence.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So Sarah was really enamored. She loved all of the shops. She coveted the dresses she saw, and she began to steal. But she was caught by various shopkeepers, and then she was labeled as a thief. So in the 1800s, shoplifting was considered a felony and a capital crime. So she was driven out of Providence. And it seems to have followed her wherever she went as well. People would get word. I'm like, they didn't have cell phones back then. How did people spread word like that? It was weird. How did they all know wherever she went? It tarnished her reputation no matter where she went. But how did they know that?
I mean, a lot of these factories, Deb, if you think about it, she traveled factory to factory. I'm sure other
Oh, you're
people
right.
traveled
That's
as
true.
well. Might have heard the
Yes.
story in this place and spread it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So being without her family, she turned to the church. Many people like her turned to the Methodist church. Now, the Methodist church back then, of course, the strict Congregationals didn't like it because they were like holy rollers and they were really into it, right? The services were lively. The ministers were very charismatic people. They would also host these tent revivals in the woods.
Which probably look like cult meetings
Exactly.
to other people, yeah.
Yeah, to the Congregationalists, I'm sure. But apparently a lot of so good stuff went on at those meetings, and they would say they were wild. She joined a Methodist church in Slatersville, and she loved it, just like Walter loved it there. She stayed for 2 years. When her mill burned down, she moved close by and continued to go to her church. The strict, of course, Congregationals, like we said, did not like the Methodists. But many of these girls became enamored with these preachers. They really did. But a lot of them were sexual predators.
Well, her sister married a preacher, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep. I'm not sure if he was Methodist or not.
Oh, gee, unlike today's, we won't talk about that.
Exactly. Exactly.
But anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So after her adventures in Providence, Sarah moved to Connecticut. And she still had her faith, but she had been labeled as a troubled girl, and the ministers would not allow her to become a member. And that was the thing with the Methodists too. They were just like so cruel to her. And they were very pious, which is ridiculous. It's not the way of God. We all know that.
Religion should be practicing forgiveness and giving people second chances.
And she just wanted to go to church, the poor girl. That's all she wanted. She worked in a weaving mill, but was looked at as suspicious because of her theft and was fired. She then went to live with the family of a tailor as a seamstress, but while she was there, she met a young single man, and he began to visit her in the shop. One evening, they went for a walk, and rumors started to fly, and the tailor's wife fired Sarah. This poor girl, she had so many people against her 24/7. Like, but back in the
Just for going
day,
for a walk.
yeah.
Wow.
But I guess back in the day, that was,
You had to bring a chaperone, probably?
yeah. Yep. So when Sarah spent her 2 years in Slatersville, she was eventually accused of lewd behavior by her church. But many young men back then would promise marriage to get these women to sleep with them, and then they would never follow through.
Back then,
So
you
I'm
could
sure
leave those 2 words out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you know how strict they were back then. It was crazy. I swear, I can't, the way they treated women. So she was ejected from many churches after that for fornication and lying, they said. It was while Sarah was in Lowell, Mass. That she met a preacher named Ephraim Avery.
That name I know.
Yeah. His preaching really moved her, and she became enamored with this charismatic preacher. Now it's said by I guess one of the sheriffs actually testified to this. He said that she went to work for Avery and his wife, but Avery, of course, would go on to say, oh, this never happened, right? He and his wife had 3 children, but he was rarely ever home, would come in late at night. He'd shut himself in his study with young women, of course. His study was isolated from the rest of the house and contained a bed.
What?
Yes, it contained a bed. And they said that at night he would go visit Sarah in her room because the family would say, well, she was ill and she wanted to pray.
I
Okay.
never heard any of this part of the story.
Yeah, so the sheriff said that Avery's little boy, this is what he said to his mom. So Sarah went on a carriage ride with Avery, and I guess the little boy was with them, and he goes, Ma, Sarah Marie Cornell, no, Pa kissed Sarah Marie on the road. He kissed Sarah Cornell on the road. So kids don't usually lie about stuff like that. I'm pretty sure he probably
the
saw
kids
it.
are the
Yeah.
upstanding one in this story. I keep seeing something off to my left. I don't know, oh, maybe it's you turning the page. I keep seeing a shadow on the wall.
Is it that?
It could be. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, I see something, a
Yeah.
flash out that way. All right, go ahead. You got
So
it.
of course his wife was furious, and she fired poor Sarah. Sarah worked briefly at a mill in Lowell. She went to a camp meeting, one of the camp meetings, and was asked to leave after she briefly disappeared with a man. She decided to seek advice from Reverend Avery. She kept asking him and bugging him for a certificate of good standing, which I guess is what they would give you, and you would take that with you wherever you went, so you were allowed into the Methodist Church, your certificate of good standing, right?
She needs to stop taking him walks though.
He gave her the certificate, but ordered her to move from Lowell because he wanted her as far away from his wife as possible, right? But despite this, she stayed. She was happy with her work there. But then the man who oversaw the mill confronted her about her behavior with men. She cried and admitted to a relationship with one of the men at the mill. He told her she could stay if she went and confessed her sin to Reverend Avery. So she did, instead of being kind and offering her forgiveness, as he should have, right? He called for a church trial.
A church trial?
But he sent her to the Cape for a camp meeting when the trial occurred, so she couldn't be there to defend herself. And wouldn't see what happened, right? But she had probably confessed because she thought she would be able to stay at the church, poor thing. So then she left for New Hampshire. After she left to go to New Hampshire, there was a Dr. Graves, right? He asked Avery where she was, and he told him she's gone to New Hampshire. But then, this is what he told Avery. He said he had treated her for an STD, and she never paid her bill. What really happened to Sarah, and probably to others before her, was she had gone to him with a cold. He tried to SA her and told her if she didn't comply, he would raise her bill and tell people she had an STD. Poor Sarah. Piece of shit.
You know,
I can't take these men. I just can't.
I mean, yeah, she was definitely, I mean, I don't even know what to say here. A lot of it is the men, but she didn't help herself here and there either, but.
Right. So in New Hampshire, Sarah tried to join another church. The Reverend inquired from Ephraim Avery, and he told the Reverend she was, quote, a fornicator, thief, and a liar. So poor Sarah, she was rejected from another church. She sent more letters to Avery confessing her sins, asking for forgiveness, but no forgiveness ever came. She then went to live with her sister for a while in Woodstock, Connecticut, which is right up the street from my daughter Heather and her husband, right? So Sarah attempted one more time to meet with Avery. She went to a camp meeting in Thompson, Connecticut, which is right near Heather as well. She confronted him and asked for her confession letters back. Because pretty much the only reason she confessed was because they told her if she confessed, she could get back into the church. Yeah. Right. She claims that he sexually assaulted her at the camp meeting. She confided this to her sister, but was afraid to call out Avery for fear of backlash. Sarah soon discovered she was pregnant. She was determined to keep her baby. Sarah's brother-in-law spoke with his pastor and an attorney, and they encouraged her to move to Rhode Island, where Avery lived, and to sue him for child support. And her sister also, she testified at trial that she knew Sarah stopped getting her period right after that date because of the fact that she did the laundry. So she was pregnant.
Funny, I thought she got pregnant in Fall River. Okay, so she came to the city already.
Yes, yeah. So they encouraged her to move closer to Avery, so she moved to Tiverton, which was that piece. It was Fall River now, but it used to be Tiverton, that section, right?
Right. We're gonna be going there actually.
Oh, good.
Because that's where they found her body. Was considered the Tiverton line.
Okay. She got a mill job. Lived in one of the boarding houses for the mill girls. The girls all found her wonderful. So she went to visit a local physician, Dr. Wilbur. And this Leanne Wilbur, our dear friend Leanne Wilbur that owned the Lizzie Boyden house, I almost wonder if it was like an ancestor relative of hers or something, because the name just jumped right out at me. But he was a very kind man. He was disgusted when he found out what had happened to Sarah. She didn't give him Avery's name, but he advised her to expose him. Sarah, being the kind person that she was, explained that she couldn't do that to the church or to his wife or children. He advised her to let him know if he didn't support her, she would expose him. Sarah had one meeting with Avery already, and he had given her, have you ever heard of oil of tansy to get rid of a pregnancy?
No.
Yeah, that's what they used to use. And but Dr. Wilbur told Sarah that the amount that he advised, she didn't take it of course, that he advised her to take would have killed her and the baby.
Not surprised.
Yeah. So he asked for a second meeting, and Dr. Wilbur was very suspicious, and he begged Sarah not to meet him alone. And then here's just this other little thing piece just to add in that I picked up on.
What's that?
I don't know if I got it from the book I was reading, but you know, Elijah and Ludwig, right, that lived next door to the Bordens, and she killed the children in the well. Well, apparently, when she married him, she had 2 older boys. They were like teenagers.
Elijah did?
That's what it said. And they actually lived across the street from a mill fire that was started, and people were suspecting her sons because they met the description of the 2 that fired the cannon and started the mill fire. I just thought that was an interesting little piece that I found. Yeah. Don't know where it came from.
Interesting. I'm gonna check the cemetery.
Yeah, we have to check it out,
There are
definitely.
2 other graves there, but
So it
you
could
can't
be a-
read. You can't read.
Oh, maybe it's her 2 sons.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
So
on
she
the
come
day,
to Fall River. Yeah.
on the day of her meeting with Avery, Sarah left the mill early and went home to change her clothes. Everyone said she seemed to be in good spirits. However, she left a note in her trunk that said, "If I am missing, inquire of Reverend E.K. Avery." Now, on December 21st of 1832, John Durfee found Sarah hanging from a haystack on his farm, dressed in a long black cloak. Shoes laid neatly on the ground. John's dad and 3 workers helped to cut her body down. John then went to get the coroner. So Dr. Wilbur, he was in his office and he saw these women running and running. He's like, oh my God, something must have happened. He was finally notified, so he made his way to the farm. He informed John that Sarah had been a patient of his and that she was pregnant, and that a Methodist minister did show up, and he claimed that Sarah was a member of his congregation and was a respectable girl. This is what he said, quote,
Avery?
nope, it was another minister, another Methodist minister, Ira Bidwell, his name was.
Okay.
Okay. So John brought Sarah's body into his house, and the coroner summoned a jury. Now, these people were just people who were in good standing with the community. They had no medical knowledge. Even the coroner himself had no medical knowledge. But can you imagine?
That wasn't even a qualification to be coroner.
Yeah.
He didn't have to.
Yeah, he was just appointed, right? Because they liked him. So once they put this jury together, right, they would decide how, where, and when a person died. If they decided it was murder, the prosecutors could accept or ignore the jury's verdict. So the 6 men, like, they wouldn't look at her naked body without clothes. They knew she was pregnant, but they believed it was suicide. They left the farm to meet up again like the following day, right? So a group of women were called in to prepare the body for burial. That's another thing they used to do. They had certain women that would come in, right? One of them had the last name Borden, so it could have been a relative of Mr. Borden. When they removed her clothes, they couldn't believe what they saw. There were like severe bruises on her back. Her knees were scratched and grass stained, as though like she'd had like a
struggle.
fight, like a struggle, exactly. She had bruises above each of her hips and the marks of hands with the thumb being inwards, and her undergarments had blood.
So don't even tell me it was still ruled suicide.
Uh,
Well, couldn't have been.
The jury came back the next day, and the women asked for clothes to bury her in. So John, of course, went to Sarah's boarding house. After opening her trunk, he found some interesting things. So at the bottom of the trunk, there were 4 letters. 2 on white, 1 on yellow, and 1 on pink paper. One was to Reverend Ira Bidwell, her minister. The other 3 weren't signed. They mentioned a meeting, but not a specific spot. One ended with "right soon, say nothing to no one." They also found the oil of tansy that she claimed Avery had given her. So all of this was in her trunk,
So
right?
the letters were to her, not from her.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Wilbur asked Sarah's minister if the Methodist Church would take care of her burial, right? Because the poor girl had nothing, right?
Yeah.
And Ira's like, oh, she's in good standing, right? So he said he would check with the congregation. But as he was leaving, Dr. Wilbur told him about Sarah's pregnancy and that she claimed Avery was the father and that he had sexually assaulted her. Ira Bidwell left and said he would be in touch about Sarah's burial.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen now.
Right. So he came back, and of course, like you just said, nope, he's like, she was a bad person. church won't bury her. So, of course, John was like, what the hell? What caused his sudden change? He had just said he would bury her. But he was so sweet. He decided to bury Sarah on his farm. So he planned a nice, respectful funeral with a minister there. Good. So sweet, right?
So she must have been exhumed to where she currently lies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, over to Oak Grove. Mm. Yeah. John's sisters were going through Sarah's trunk to find out who her relatives may have been because they didn't know. In the bottom is when they found that piece of paper that said, if I am to go missing, inquire of the Reverend E.K. Avery. So she was covering her ass. She fucking knew. Excuse me. The funeral was set for the next day. The coroner's jury met the next day. They read the letters from Sarah's trunk. One was written a month before her death. It said, I will do all you ask, but keep your secrets. Please name a time and place that we can meet. Her cause of death was finalized as she unalived herself.
Still.
Yep. It was written that, this is quote, she was influenced to commit the crime by the wicked conduct of a married man. The jury still didn't know about that other slip of paper that was found in the bottom of her trunk. They didn't know.
Pinpointing Avery.
Yes. So a lot of people went to her funeral, a lot of the mill workers, the girls she worked with, and I'm sure her woman that ran the boarding house where she lived. She was well liked. She really was. But you know what? No Methodist ministers from the church that she dedicated her life to.
Oh.
No piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. It makes me so mad. So after hearing of the note, John Durfee, he's such a great guy. He started doing his own investigating.
Durfees were a great family.
Yes. A couple other things. A neighbor had found a piece of a broken comb that matched the one near Sarah's body out about 500 feet away. He knew of the bruising on Sarah's body, and he had the note. There was also the sudden change of heart of Reverend Ira Bidwell. A man had also told him that on the night of the hanging, he had seen a tall man in a dark coat with a broad-brimmed hat, which is how Avery would dress.
Yeah.
Yep. He saw this guy about 300 feet from the haystack where Sarah was found. And then 2 other men reported seeing the same man as they were working. And when they came back, they noticed that their burlap sacks, which were near where the man was sitting, were missing some cord. And that cord was the marline twine, which was found around Sarah's neck. It's good evidence.
Well, let's rule it a suicide.
Yeah. So John went to the coroner with his evidence and asked for Sarah's body to be exhumed to examine the bruising. Mm-hmm. So this was 3 days after Sarah's death. A new coroner's jury was called. Dr. Wilbur and Dr. Cooper came to examine her body. They noticed just above her abdomen on the left side was a large bruise. They actually measured the fetus, and they believed the fetus to be about 4 months old, which would have been just at the time from when Sarah had been at that meeting with Avery.
Right.
And Dr. Hooper concluded that the violence had been inflicted on Sarah before her death. So duh. It took you long enough.
So now they're starting to come around to the truth.
Yeah. There was also the clove hitch knot used to hang Sarah. It's believed that Sarah could not have tied that knot by herself.
She's a woman.
Yep. Right? So knowing he was a suspect, Avery fled to New Hampshire, but they found him and they brought him back. He was put in a Newport jail, and I'm not sure, but I think that jail is still there, and I think it's a bed and breakfast. I want us to go stay there. That would be really cool.
I was wondering if that jail exists.
I think it does.
And do you know when they tracked him down in New Hampshire, he was actually hiding in another
somebody's house, right?
Yeah. Who protected him, knowing when they were there for him.
And they protected him through to the end.
Thank God that I was smart enough to say, I don't think so.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. So the Methodists, they were, of course, raising money for his trial, and they did. It was set for spring. Of course, he pleaded not guilty, right? Mm-hmm.
Standard practice.
Yeah, his team traveled across New England to find witnesses that speak badly of Sarah's reputation. Because if convicted, he would have been home. Okay? So all of the evidence was presented. So back to the letters. On November 22nd, a steamboat worker in Providence claimed a man brought him a pink letter and asked for it to be delivered to the address of Sarah's boarding house. He wanted it hand delivered. In this letter, he told Sarah he would help her and wanted to meet. The next letter was sent December 8th from Fall River. A witness claimed that Avery was in his stationery shop that day, purchased the paper that looked just like the letter, then wrote a note. And this letter said, "We'll be here on the 20th, which was Sarah's death date, if pleasant, place named at 6, saying nothing."
Wow. Can I interject again?
Yeah.
The citizens of Fall River had already convicted in their minds
Mhm.
this Avery dude. And there used to be a tree, actually it was right on the town line of Fall River, Tiverton. And they made this little Reverend Avery, like,
I love that so much.
doll type of, what do you call it? Can't think of the word, effigy? No, it's something like that though. And hung it from the tree. So the citizens here actually had already convicted
Already
him.
convicted him. They took care of their bill girls. They really did. I wish I had a picture of that, but we can show you guys. Sue knows where it is. We'll point it out.
No, the tree.
Yeah. Yep. So Sarah left the boarding house sometime before dark, according to the letters. She was to meet someone at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, a woman who lived a quarter mile, which isn't far, from the Durfee farm heard a screeching. Another witness claimed he heard screams about 8:45, and it sounded like a woman in distress. So now we look at Avery's alibi. This is not very solid. Now, he claimed he took a walk to a nearby island to visit a spot his father had fought at in the Revolutionary War. I believe he's talking about Aquidneck Island. You know where that is?
Yeah, Portsmouth area.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. He claims that he left his house at 2 o'clock, took the ferry from Bristol to Aquidneck Island. He claims he wandered around the island, then went back to the ferry. The captain told him it was too late and too windy. The description of the man and the clothes he were matched the description of the man seen at the farm earlier. He claims he spent the night at the captain's house and returned home the next day. But while detailing his walk, but he had like so many little tiny details like a guilty person would do. Like, oh God, I gotta think of all these things I can tell them. Like I saw a sheep walk by, or I saw that, you know what I mean?
So many people thought that of Uncle John too.
Yes.
In the boarding house.
So he was even seen getting off the ferry on the island, and not again till he was seen at the captain's house. So there were 7 hours missing. But there was also a footbridge where he could have taken the ferry over, so it looks like he took the ferry, right? Walked the footbridge back, right? But a man from the toll booth claims Avery crossed the bridge to Tiverton at 3 o'clock. So he was seen crossing that bridge.
Yeah.
To come back. But he wants us to think he was there the whole time.
Right.
Also, some hotel workers in Fall River claimed that he came in for dinner on the night of Sarah's death. The owner of the hotel claimed that he had seen Avery crossing the bridge around 3 o'clock. That's 2 people that saw him cross the bridge, right? So Mrs. Hathaway, who is Sarah's landlady, finds something Jane Hathaway from that Walter's been watching the Beverly Hillbillies lately, and it's like big away that Jane Hathaway.
My first thought was Bertha Hathaway.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny how a name will stick in your head
And
like
they're
that.
from Fall River.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, yeah, that's crazy. All those names, a lot of them are the same.
Yeah.
But she told the jury she cooked supper for Sarah, and Sarah told her that she was meeting someone at the Durfee house. Now, why he picked the Durfee farm, I don't know, but I
I
thought that
mean,
was
if you
nice.
think about it, all right, put it this way, in the 1600s, when these Durfees were here, their land went from the Taunton River all the way to the southward Tupper Pond and all the way to the Tiverton
okay.
line.
So it
was vast, it included fields, woods, and even though we're talking 100 years later, there still was a vast majority of wooded areas, and
so it was.
it would have been
okay.
a prime location, really. You got this
that
big
makes
farm. I mean,
sense.
not too
Right.
many witnesses.
That makes a lot of sense. And she also said that Sarah seemed more cheerful than usual. Of course, she was excited. She thought maybe,
Yeah, she
he's
thought they were
meeting
gonna work it
me,
out and
yeah.
he's gonna help her.
Yeah, and she had that letter that said he would help her. But what she didn't realize was that she was headed to her death. It's so sad. So Lucretia's sister was called to the witness stand. And again, we talked about that. She told that people that Sarah had her period before the camp meeting and didn't get it again the month later, because she did the laundry, so she knew that. This guy, Zervia Hambley, lived near the Durfee farm. Oh, it's a woman, I'm sorry. She claims she saw a tall man and a shorter woman walking around 7 o'clock. This was about 30 minutes before Mrs. Owen heard the screams. Now, Avery had told Reverend Bidwell that they had to get witnesses to speak of Sarah's behavior as a loose woman, right? The fence, compiled all of these people
Yeah,
for
let's
that.
trash the victim.
Yep, exactly. Sarah's brother-in-law testified to the fact that she had told him how Avery had essayed her at the camp meeting. But after all of this, right, because you gotta figure there was no DNA back then, today he would have been found guilty, because there would have been DNA, so they definitely would have found something. But back then, so he was found not guilty, and it's extremely annoying to me. And he was also acquitted by the Methodist Church.
Of course he was.
Yep.
They probably just changed his location. All right, let's just move this priest
Yeah, how many
somewhere
times have we
else.
seen these things happening? It's crazy, right? But as you said, the town of Fall River was furious, and they hung their dummy up there. I wish there was a picture of that, man. How I would love to
I
see
saw the
that,
links.
right?
You mentioned the tree, it no longer stands, but I know about
The
where
area.
it was.
Yeah, we have to show them that.
Yeah.
So actually, but he actually eventually was shunned from the church, because after what happened and all of the conflict, no one wanted to go to his church. So he was kind of shunned finally by
What
the
does that
church.
remind us of?
Yeah.
Lizzie was found innocent because, again, no DNA, no proof was found. Allowed to go back to church, but shunned at the same time.
When she tried to go back to church, no one would sit by her.
And the rest of
It's
her life,
horrible.
pretty much,
Yeah.
shunned by a lot of people.
Yeah, and the church meant a lot to her as well.
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot of similarities,
It's so sad. I know, there really are. And two, she had an all-male jury who could never, concede to the fact that a woman could do something like that. Well, this guy probably had an all-male jury too, but they couldn't believe that a minister would do something like that.
It's not probably women weren't allowed to serve on a jury.
No, not back then. No. So he ended up moving his family to Ohio, and he became a farmer. So he was allowed to live out the rest of his life, and poor Sarah and her baby were murdered because of him. I'm pretty sure. If you look at all of that evidence, you guys let us know what you think. I'm curious to hear what you guys think on this, or if you want to do more research on it. Do you think Sarah unalived herself, or do you think it was something else? Let us know, because I'm curious. But I mean, it's circumstantial evidence, but I mean, they had a lot of good witnesses.
I mean, 100% she was murdered, 100%.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It's awful.
Yeah. So we have another little surprise, because we talked about adventuring. We're going to show you guys the new coffee shop. This is Lizzie's coffee shop, which is in Lizzie's old church. So it's pretty cool. So we're going to adventure. Yeah, Shun Church. We're going to venture off a little bit there. We are going to go now to where Sarah's body was found, and we're going to go to the cemetery, and we'll show you guys where the tree was that they hung the little fake jerk. I can't stand him. I'm sorry. I'm so mad about this, and I feel like poor Sarah was treated so horribly her whole life. I mean, this poor girl had nothing. She didn't really have a family. I mean, she did have her sister, but she had no money. She had to support herself. And I'm telling you, if Sarah was alive today, she would be the CEO of a fucking company. She'd be running those mills where she was working. She had a lot of gumption. She took care of herself. She really did. And she had nothing. And she was treated horribly, I believe. I'm really angry about the way this poor girl was treated her whole life. And she finally was excited to have a baby. She was going to raise that baby, and look what happened. I can't. I'm just so angry.
I mean,
I'm just so angry with the whole thing. I can't.
I know. It's a tough story.
Yeah. So If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to like it. Be sure to comment because it helps us a lot as well. Share it if you liked sharing it, and please subscribe if you've enjoyed this episode.
And hey, watch for our little short video on this house because
Yeah, we're gonna put that up as
really
well.
cool place to investigate.
Yeah. All right, so you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this. I'm gonna use the bathroom while you pack up.
So the tree, guys, was either on the left or the
Right over
right.
there, I think.
She thinks it was right over there.
Because this was the old line to the Tiverton Fall River.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So going this way, you actually would have been into
Right.
Tiverton.
Right.
So the tree, I think, was right in front.
Right behind us, yeah. Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I wish I could have seen that.
We're
I
coming
can
up
picture
on
it in my
the-
mind.
Yeah, we're coming up on the area of where the Durfee farm would have been.
Okay. I should have filmed the ride so you guys could see. Well, it was so different back then. So all this was farmland, guys. We're gonna find a place to park.
Today it's Kennedy Park, Fall River, but back then it would have been part of the Durfee farm, Tiverton.
Yep.
And where the body was found would have been at the bottom, closer to the water.
Okay. I can see the water down there.
Yeah, it's way down. It's
Yep.
a huge farm. I wish I could metal detect it.
I know.
Fender necklaces.
So imagine, guys, this was all farmland. Now it's Kennedy Park. So the body was found down this way towards the water, right?
Yes,
Okay.
lower part of Kennedy.
Okay.
So you can see how huge that Durfee farm would have been.
Yeah. I can see why he chose
Perfect
that.
place, right?
Yeah, perfect place.
The
Yeah.
house probably would have been up this way.
Yeah. Okay. So we did our research. Now remember, this was all farmland. But this is where Sarah was found. This is where the haystack would have been. Right over in here somewhere. We should have brought our rods to direct us. We should have brought our rods to direct us.
Yeah, I don't have my equipment on me.
So guys, we're just going to do a little spirit box. A little difficult to film here because of the traffic, but we're going to give it a shot. Maybe let's go in the shade by the tree over there.
Sure. Because it would have been right in this area.
Would have been right in this
And
area.
then the farmer, John Durfee's house, would have been up a little bit on the hill. Because he came down the hill, discovered
Right.
the body.
Yeah. Put the spirit box on. Hi Sarah, I'm hoping you can come through. I really hope you love the way we did your story. I know this is a strange piece of equipment, but nothing can hurt you. It's just us, and we just, Deb and Sue, and we just want to hear from you if you enjoyed your story that we did for you. I'm going to bring you a little gift at the cemetery.
Sarah, can you tell us who did this to you?
Are we in the correct spot? Is this where the haystack was? Was it an accident? What happened? We're trying to reach Sarah Cornell. If anyone can come through and help us, we'd appreciate it. Is that you, Sarah?
Female voice. First was a male. What happened here? Can you tell us? We're trying to tell your story. How badly you were treated.
Pretty sure that was her. And I was dead.
Can we get a name of who did this?
Was it an accident? Or was it on purpose? Are we in the right spot? I just want to memorialize you, that's all. We're going to go visit you.
Who's the male talking? Is this Reverend Avery? Are you coming through? You recognize this spot, don't you? Sarah, you can speak to us, it's okay.
I'm sure you're in heaven with your baby.
Was it a girl or a boy?
I was just thinking that. Avery, you are despicable if that's you. What you did was despicable. Hope you met your karma. Is there anyone else who would like to come through from Sarah Cornell Caves? That would be around. We'll give you a couple more minutes. We're going to listen back, okay?
John Borden, this was your farm. Is this where you found Sarah?
You're a very kind man, John. Thank you for showing kindness to Sarah. That was really nice. We appreciate that. All right, we're going to listen back. So, sounds like this guy says, my ma's buried. And John actually, I don't know why he would call her my ma, but this is where he buried her, on his property. I'm going to play this for you guys.
Oh, go ahead. John wouldn't say that, Deb. However, she was pregnant.
I know, I thought about that too. It could be her baby,
Could be
her
the
son,
child
the child as an adult. Yeah,
Yes.
That's crazy. Oh my God,
My mom.
ma's buried. Wow.
Sure sounds like that anyway.
Yeah. So guys, I hear a woman in the background. I can't make out what she's saying. I don't know if it's Sarah, but I'm gonna play it for you and you guys can figure out.
Type any guesses.
Is that you, Sarah? Is that you, Sarah?
Yep, she said yeah. So this one's creepy. A guy says, I have the baby, and then the girl says something, but we can't make out what she's saying. I'm gonna play this for you guys. This one's a little creepy.
That is crazy, I have the baby.
Yeah. And it's a male that's saying, I have the baby.
The other voice actually sounds like the one who said my mom was buried. Doesn't it? Play it again.
The male voice.
Listen, doesn't that sound like the same voice that says my mom was buried?
Yep. All right, say that again. All right, let's listen some more.
We need that app, that
Chrissy has.
background noise.
Oh, yeah.
Audacity?
Yep, I have that.
Oh.
What? Hi, guys. Why, guys?
Wait a minute.
It's that same guy.
I asked her.
I asked her. But what were we saying before that?
That's why I like to play the whole thing. What'd you just say?
Wait a minute. Something to stack. The stack with the haystack.
Where are you hearing stack? Right in
At
that
the end,
sentence?
yeah. No, we said something else.
Can we get a name of who did this?
Was it an accident? Or was it on purpose? Are we in the right spot? I want to memorialize you, that's all. We're going to go visit you.
Something this past by.
I want to memorialize you, that's all.
By the stack.
I want to memorialize you, that's all.
Listen.
Yeah, I heard it.
I want to memorialize you, that's all.
Hold on. It's crazy.
Wow, who's talking to us? Is that
John, maybe?
could be? But why would he say I have the kid? I don't know.
Gotta call back. Gotta call back. Gotta come back. I said we're gonna go visit you.
The mail talker. She say don't come back.
Don't come back. That
We
would
said
be.
we're gonna come visit you, and she said don't come back.
Yeah, it was a guy that said that though.
Oh, was it?
Don't come back.
That's a guy?
Don't come back.
Mail talker. Don't come back. Don't tell me what to do.
We're going to go visit.
Mama one.
Right, exactly.
That's
Like,
crazy.
it sounds like
because I feel like it is these people coming through. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't sound. We're not getting like modern day responses.
No.
We're getting very relevant responses, and I feel like it can't be the farmer talking because he wouldn't say these things.
No. Well, this guy just said, I'll play this for you guys. He said, we said we're going to go visit Sarah at the cemetery. He said, don't come back. So to me, that would be freaking. So I said, you're going to meet your karma. You're a jerk. He's like, and somebody goes, amen. Oh, it sounds like that.
Yeah.
And then
Think
Sue just
so.
had a good point.
Yeah, you know, I was just talking to Devin. I was thinking, like, you know, guys, I don't know if you believe it or not, but Andrew Gordon is still around. And a lot of people say he is because maybe he did some things that he's not quite ready to meet his maker about. Well, wouldn't it come to be the same for Reverend Avery?
Yeah.
I mean, here he is a man of God, right?
Yeah.
So he's a big believer in, oh, you murder, you're going to burn the fires of hell. So here's this man meeting his death one day. He could still be around. He could be afraid to move on.
It's
So
true.
that may be his voice that's coming through here.
Yep, makes sense, right?
Very well
Yeah.
could be that we've come across it before.
Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my God.
Helps with a response.
Yeah, so Sue was saying, John, this was your farm and you found Sarah. And then we hear a couple of things, one in the background and one in the forefront that we can't really make out, but you guys can.
Please feel free to play armchair detective.
So we just drove across the thank you, Sue. We just drove across the street. You can see how the farm was right on the water. This is like right across the street from where the haystack
literally
was.
probably a couple
Absolutely
100 feet away.
beautiful. It's just so pretty. It's just right across the street. It's the
Yep.
water.
Be the Tiverton River.
Taunton River. Wow. All right, Sarah. Thank you for coming through. I hope you're happy with what we did for you, for your story. I'm glad you have a beautiful resting spot here at Oak Grove. I have a present for you. This is a selenite wand, and I got you the rose quartz for love. for all the love that you didn't have and that you were craving through your life. It's for you and the baby, okay? I'm going to put it right here. That's for you, Sarah. With love from us to you. Sometimes my camera skills, I just realized I was pointing at the ground, but there you go, Sarah. Thank you for allowing us to tell your story, and I really do hope that you are happy with the way we did it. The story's been told. I didn't even tell everybody like how I found out about this. You knew about it. I didn't. I went to the library and I found a book, and I was like, wow, this looks fascinating, and I recognized a lot of it. But yeah, and I read it and I was fascinated. I'm like, I have to tell this girl's story. I have to, you know. Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Sarah Cornell. So this was interesting. We were doing the spirit box and we gave Sarah her little gift. And I said, this is for you and the baby, okay? And you can hear a whisper. It wasn't us and it wasn't the spirit box. And she goes, yes. I hope you guys can hear this. I'm going to try to play it for you. Yes.
It's a very breathy.
So this was Rebecca Cornell's house. I told you we are going to show you guys a picture of that. She's the one whose son Thomas murdered her, and he's buried right at the end of the driveway. So the new Miss Lizzie's is Sue. Miss Lizzie's coffee is in Lizzie's old church. How freaking cool and amazing is this? Wow. Can't believe I'm finally getting in here. Working in. Look at this staircase. Wow. This is totally amazing. Yeah. This is the upstairs. I'm trying to keep people out of the picture. Check out this chandelier. How cool is that? Big beehive oven. They're going to start doing pizza. Stained glass windows are original. That used to be at Maplecroft. The old church part in there. Next time we come, Joe is busy today. And then you have this beautiful little courtyard area where you can sit. This is so cool. I love this. All right, we're back to little Sue again. I hope you can see her. So I was driving, my dog barking again in the background. I was driving home. We just got done filming and realized we never did our official closing. I was like, oh my God. So little Sue again, here we are. But anyway, I feel like that was amazing. That was really cool.
It was. We got a lot.
We really did. I didn't expect to get that. Yeah. I feel like every time we go to crime scenes is when we really get the most responses. And I don't know. I feel like that could have been Avery coming through. And I know I heard Sarah. But the thing that was so heartwarming for me was when we were at the cemetery and I gave her a little gift. And I said, this is for you and the baby, okay? And over the spirit box, so it was an EVP, it wasn't coming through the spirit box, you heard that whisper, yes. I was like, oh, like she truly connected with us, you know?
Yeah, that was cool.
And that meant a lot to me, it really did, because, I mean, I think she really appreciated it. And she needed something like that, you know? I feel like I'm glad we got her story out there.
Yeah, who am I talking to? A bag on the table? What's up? Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm over here. I'm looking at the camera. You know what I'm doing? I'm facing you. I'm facing you at the camera so they can see you. Right? So that's why you can't, yeah, that's why you can't see me.
All right, I'm like, where'd she go?
I have all my craft stuff in here, so I have it all piled on the table, and that's what the camera's on top of, so that's what you're looking at.
I see.
But yeah, I feel like that was, God, I can't believe how much stuff we got. I'm totally amazed. I can't wait to do the Tony Costa, the serial killer, because for that we're going to go to the Cape again. We're going to go to the crime scene, so I'm curious to see if the girls will come through.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Rusty again on that one.
Yes, definitely. He's very familiar with that. So that'll be really cool. Can you think of anything else? I think we're good.
No, just gotta get some stuff on here at the turkey house.
Yep, and we'll be on a roll. So guys, make sure, you know, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to share it, like it, comment, because that helps us a lot when we get your comments. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. We have more big adventures coming up. And we love you guys. Be sure to share the love. Bye.
Bye, guys.